Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's your girl Mary Jane. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. So here we go. Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 1. Let's get into it. Okay. We start off with Arya, she kills the Frey. She revenges her father's killing, her family being killed, and innocent people being killed. She uses the many face god tricks. It's so good to see Arya that's able to use all the training that she received from the many face god, and was able to kill the Freys. She killed the Freys, but she spared the young ladies, and she let them know, when people ask you what happened, tell them winter came for the Freys. And it was so good to see that. OMG, it was so good to see the Starks getting back to where they need to be, and stop and that they're not facing all the triumph and all the wrong things that happened to them, that they're able to get revenge. And Arya getting her revenge was wonderful, and how she pulled off her mask, that was awesome. And then you see Brandon Stark, Bran Stark, him making it to the wall, and and him seeing the visions of the White Walkers, and able to be seen in this episode. And now he knows he's a three-eyed raven, so that was good to see as well. I don't know where the other Stark brother is, the other one. Where is he at? Like, I haven't seen him for like 2 seasons. But anyways, so Bran, he's at the wall. So it seems like all the Starks are going to meet up, because you got Jon Snow and you have Sansa. They're all, Jon and her are together. So now all we need is the Arya, Bran, and we need the other brother, and the Starks to be back on top, because right now Jon Snow is the king of the North, and we know Littlefinger wants to be the king of the North, and I still think he wants to marry Sansa. So we'll see what happens. So then now, Jon Snow, he's the king and everything. And so, he's giving a speech, and he's talking about no one is watching the wall. And so, who is it? The wildlings are going to man the wall, because they listen to what Jon Snow has to say. So they're going to man the walls. And Jon is worried about the White Walkers. He's not worried about anything else but the White Walkers. So, and we see, Jon Snow and his sister Sansa, they have a little dispute in front of the small councilman, in front of everybody. So hopefully Davos could teach them not to, if they have political differences, or if they have differences, not to hash them out in public and do it privately. But you see how Sansa, how she talks about Cersei and how evil she believes Cersei is, and it's almost seemed like Sansa admires Cersei, it's like she almost looks up to her. It's like now she has changed. She's going to be evil. She's going to think just like Cersei and be like her probably. But Jon Snow needs to hear what his sister has to say, because he can't, still, go by his father's teachings and his father's ways, because he'll ultimately get killed. And that's what Sansa is trying to tell him, that you have to think differently than our father and our brother. I love them both, but they made mistakes, and that's why they end up getting murdered. You have to be different. So it's almost like, Sansa is like Jon Snow's, the devil in his ear, to have him to think differently. He can't be the same Jon Snow, because we know last season the people that he was working with, ultimately tried to kill him and stab him up, and they all took turns stabbing him. So he can't be the same Jon Snow. He has to think with vengeance, but also be smart and be better than what his father was. So that was good to see, and it's like Sansa, she's crossing over to be evil, and she's ready for war. She's ready. And she has a Littlefinger in her corner. Anyways, I don't know, I know she still have Littlefinger around because of the veil, and Littlefinger saved her against Ramsay or whatever, but he ultimately put Sansa there. It's like I would kill him for what she had to do with what she had to deal with Ramsay. But You know, she needs him now. And you know, Littlefinger always has a trick up his sleeves. He's always a step ahead of everybody, a couple of steps ahead of everybody. Him and Varys is on the, like, the same page or whatever. So we'll see what's going down. We're going to see what happens with this season. Let's see if we get everything that we need to get in this season. So you get Cersei, her and, you know, Jaime are debating about the Westeros, and you know, Cersei talks about she's the queen of the 7 kingdoms, and you know, Jaime goes, you're the queen of 3 kingdoms at best, you know. And so Cersei's asking, you know, Jaime, where do you think, you know, Daenerys or Dany's gonna land? And he's like, you know, she's gonna land at the place where she was born, Bloodstone. Basically, she's gonna reclaim her father kingdom. So, and she's there, and you know, Daenerys, she makes it there to her father's kingdom, how she touched the ground of the sand, like she's home again. And now, you know, hopefully Jon Snow will be able to get to her in time enough to let them know of how to kill the White Walkers, and where, you know, the diamond glass to kill, you know, the White Walkers, where it's buried at, on that property, on that castle. So we'll see. And you know, and so with Daenerys, you see her with, you know, what's his name, Varys. So it's good to see Varys, and he's there, and he's so smart too as well, and he knows a lot too. And then you see her where Tyrion's there. It's all good. And then, you know, Cersei, she's still on her thing. You know, she doesn't, you know, Jaime was like, why do you want to still fight? Fight for what? Leave what behind? We don't have any kids anymore. Our kids are dead. Well, she said, but for us. And look, I know Jaime's not really feeling his sister at this time and point, but, and she don't even care about, she said her kids are traitors. She's still cold-hearted and evil. She didn't learn nothing about being locked up or anything. And you know, she talks about, like, she has enemies from the east, the north, the west, the south, all over the place. But she ends up getting one of the Greyjoys, Euron or Euron. He shows up to King's Landing and everything, and he proposed marriage to Cersei. And he was like, and she was like, I don't trust you because, you know, you did us wrong last time. So he goes, I'm going to come back with a great gift, and then you can take my hand in marriage. Because, you know, Cersei is like, no, I'm not going to marry you because I don't trust you, because, you know, you traded on our family before. And Jaime Lannister throws that in as well. So, you know, Greyjoy, Euron Greyjoy, he's talking about he's the great king of the sea and all this other stuff. And so, you know, he said he's gonna come back with a great gift, and then, you know, Cersei should marry him. What is that great gift gonna be? Is it gonna be the kingdoms, or is it gonna be her brother? You know, her brother, because he killed his own brother. So would he kill her brother for her because he traded and he's with Daenerys? So we'll see. We'll see what happens, if he's ever gonna get close to him, because he's with the dragon lady. So anyways, you get Sam. You know, Sam ends up finding out where, you know, the dragon glass is at. It's beneath the Dragonstone. You know, so he finds out just in time enough so he can send the raven to Jon Snow, and hopefully Jon Snow can make it to Daenerys or Dany. But I believe Jon Snow and Daenerys are related. I believe, like, they're brother and sister or something like that, or she possibly could be Jon Snow, in my opinion. Jon Snow's aunt, I'm not sure, but I think she is his aunt. So, like, he has the power too, and I wonder if Jon Snow will be able to control the dragons as well. But we'll see. And can't the dragon with their fire help with the swords and everything? So, anyways, you know, the dragon glass, Sam found it, so that's good. And all that stuff that he was doing, cleaning behind them people, throwing up. But then, you know, a good scene was when, you know, he was cleaning and taking the food away from, like, the people that I guess was captured or whatever. He ended up, you know, somebody stuck their hand out to grab Sam's hand or whatever, And it scared me just like it scared Sam. But and the question was, has Daenerys arrived? Where's Daenerys at? And he was like, I don't know where Daenerys is at, or Danny. And we know who that is. That's what's his name, that's in love with her. What is his name? Jorah. He's in love with Daenerys. You see, he's all burnt up by fire and everything. So I wonder, is he gonna get close to Daenerys again or not? We will see. And now we know that Tyrion is Daenerys' right hand, and Cersei does not like that at all. So we'll see. It was a pretty decent episode though. And so when Jamie, he like dogs the Greyjoys. He said they're not good at nothing but stealing. So that was good. And then you see Cersei, she's just thinking about being the queen. She doesn't even care about the White Walkers. And that's what she should be focusing on, the White Walkers. That's what they all should be focusing on, is the White Walkers. But then we get to see the Hound. The Hound is with, the Hound is with the fire people, whatever. And so they're on their horses or whatever. And the Hound is like, how did I fucking end up with a bunch of fire worshippers? And so that was so funny. And then when the Hound, they arrived to that property, to that house or whatever, where the Hound and Arya, well, the Hound stole all their food, so they end up starving to death, and the father end up killing the daughter and killing himself. And the Hound didn't want to go to that house because he didn't want to face what he has done, because you can also see the Hound has changed. He has empathy and he cares, but he's still a vicious monster. But he has to be vicious if you want to survive in on Game of Thrones. So you could see where, and then also he looks into the fire and he's able to see, he's not delusional, he's not crazy. He's able to see the mountain where Daenerys is at, where Dany's at, and he's able to see, the White Walkers and the army, the army of dead soldiers and stuff like that. And also you see like the giants. The giants are White Walkers now. Damn. So I want to know where the other brother of the Starks is at. The other little brother, the two little brothers, they were saved, but we never seen from the other brother, so I want to see where that goes, where he's at. And so, Daenerys, or Dany, she arrives at Bloodstone. She arrives at her place to be, and, she's there. And I wonder what kind of power, is her power going to be even stronger since she's there? And plus now she's about peace, and she's about, treating everybody fairly. Like she changed her train of thought, that she's not just able to, she's just not going to control everybody and take over, but she's actually want people to be treated fairly and equally. Now that's what it seems. So we'll see what happens. And then these fire people are much better than Stannis people, way much better. And what's his name, Sam, and he was like, oh, Stannis told me about this, and he didn't believe him, but now he found it. He found out where the dragon glass is at, because they need the dragon glass. So, and I wonder if Bran is going to be able to make a spell to keep out the White Walkers where they can't break down, the wall. So is Brandon going to be able to come up with a spell to keep the White Walkers out? That'll be pretty interesting if he's able to do that. And so now we know the wildlings are going to be heading to East Bay of the Sea, because they going to become the night watchers now. Jon Snow's not night watch anymore. So we'll see what happens. It was a pretty interesting episode. Basically they're just letting us know all the characters has changed, and it's like Littlefinger. What is Littlefinger up to? Does he want to marry Sansa, and does he still want to be the king of the North, or he wants to be the king of all the 7 kingdoms? We'll see. And we'll see if he's still in touch with what's her name, not Sansa, but sorry, what's her name? Jaime's sister. If he's still in touch with Jaime's sister, Cersei. Yeah, Cersei. If he's still in touch with Cersei, or is he going to have a relationship with her? Because he did kind of betray her. But you know what? She also said in the beginning of in the middle part of the episode, that people betray everybody. Everybody betrays each other. So it's what they can do for you now. And that's also like what Sansa is thinking with Jon. Like, she's trying to get Jon to be on a whole different page. But it was so nice to see Arya stock, when she was riding, riding her horse, and then she stopped because she see, like, the Lannister soldiers sitting out there at the fire singing, and she joins them or whatever, and they offer her food first, and then they offer her wine. She eats the wine. I mean, she eats the rabbit, she drinks the wine, and she eyes their sword, she eyes their stuff that they have, and it doesn't seem like she's gonna steal it at all. And and one of the soldiers was like, my mom told me to always be kind to strangers, and strangers would be kind to you. So it almost seems like, Arya is trying to have a balance with good and evil, not just be so revengeful, because she has that list. And she tells them, they was like, so what is a good girl like you doing riding along by yourself? She goes, I'm going to kill the queen. They all laugh, but she really is trying to go kill the queen. So is she gonna get captured again? I hope she doesn't get captured again. And is the many-faced god, is he gonna make an appearance on any of these episodes? Because would he have to come back and help Arya? We'll see. And even though we know Arya poisoned all the Freys when they drank the wine, did she get poisoned? But I don't think the soldiers know who Arya is. So, but it seems like that was because usually when you have kindness towards anybody in Game of Thrones, or you let your guard down, something bad happens to you. But maybe they're making a different leaf where Arya is going to feel get some of her part of her old self back. Like, everything with her didn't die when she was training with the many-faced god. And plus, I didn't see Needle. Does she have Needle? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And what else was interesting? What else stood out to me? Basically, I think that's it. And Jorah, what is he gonna do? He's still after Daenerys. And Littlefinger, what is he up to? So anyways, I'm out. Until next time, peace. Game of Thrones is back in the building.